Hi again, everybody. This is Hank Zoner of the Grapes Unwrapped. It's a Saturday morning in December in New York City. We're at the Taste Wine Company in the East Village. Now, I don't normally dress like this, especially when I'm coming into the city. In fact, a lot of people in the city are dressed in Santa outfits today. It's SantaCon Drunk Fest. But to show you a different angle of drunk, we're here. We're going to be going to the back room soon because today I'm going to be doing drunk yoga. So as many of you know, I pair wine with all sorts of things, and I find pairing of wine things very interesting. So this concept of drunk yoga really caught our attention because it's you know, having taken some yoga classes too, one of the things that I've learned is that yoga is your own personal practice, and you bring to it what you want to. And here we are in a wine store, and one of the things I often say about wine stores is that wine stores are personal. You find wine stores that you like. Well, the same thing is you find a yoga practice that you like as well too. So, and I think a lot of people have found this because it is still real yoga, yet it incorporates something that's a little more fun, a little more social, and that's wine. Now, I don't get drunk, and I tend not to do yoga, so it's going to be fun to kind of combine the two of these. I really don't think we're going to get all that drunk, to be honest with you, but it's a great business model, and we're going to be meeting the owner and some of the folks who are here for a class, appropriately enough, in the back room of this really cool wine store. So join us in a few minutes. So, after our introduction, we've moved into a back room of the wine store, which is now going to be a makeshift yoga room, yoga studio, excuse me, and I'm with Eli Walker, the founder and CEO of DrunkYoga. Hi, Eli.
Hi, Hank. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making time for us. I know you have a hectic life schedule these days, you know, as I look at your social media and look at your calendar of events and all, so thanks for carving out some time.
It's my pleasure. I love what I do.
But that's what yoga's all about, isn't it? It's about carving out time.
That is true. Very good. Sounds like you're a seasoned yogi yourself.
I've taken a handful of classes, let's put it that way, but I absorb well.
Good.
So how'd you come up with this idea? I mean, and honestly, no one's really getting drunk, right off the bat.
As my trademark lawyer will have you know, yoga is suggestive and not descriptive. So I have a background in performance. I went to NYC to School of the Arts for acting, and I've always loved finding cool ways to bring yoga to non-yogis in sort of theatrical, performative ways. I always had a knack for performance art. So before Drunk Yoga, I was doing something called Divine Your Story, where I was integrating monologue writing with yoga to help people deconstruct life narratives that don't serve them and rewrite them in a more joyful direction. Obviously more esoteric than wine and yoga.
A little more pointed there.
Yeah. But I've always had a knack, like I said, for finding ways to do yoga in weird places. And so, long story short, I happened to be in the bar Grey Lady about a year ago. I used to bartend there right out of college. So I was there, I was drinking with some friends, I was catching up with the owner of the bar, and we were in the back, and he said, "Oh, you're a yoga teacher now, you should teach me yoga. I can't even touch my toes." And then he does, and he said, "Oh, I guess I can do it when I'm drunk." And I sort of cheekily said, "Well, then let's just do drunk yoga." And then the light bulb went off, and I said, "Wait, actually, can I do that? Can I teach a class with wine in hand in the bar?" And he said, "Sure. What do you want to call it? Tipsy yoga?" And I said, "No, I'm going to call it drunk yoga."
Why not?
Yeah, well, I use that pun a lot.
And it's your name. It's your name. It's drunk yoga. You're trademarked.
I trademarked it.
It's your thing.
Yeah, so obviously it caused a lot of stir. The press picked it up pretty quickly, and I quickly had to turn this idea for a class that I had into an actual class. For a while it was just a concept, but then I developed this mission statement of unity through community, right? Wine brings people together, yoga brings you to yourself. So when we come together in this ritual of a happy hour, right, we come together in the communal to lift each other up. Why don't we add yoga for people who were too intimidated to try it in a conventional setting? And it seems to really work. And you'll see later when we do the class that I use games, fun, music, dancing, things like that to get people sort of over themselves, for lack of a better phrase. And I think it's a really, really unique and creative way to get people to find presence and joy through yoga without feeling intimidated by pressure to be perfect in a conventional setting.
Well, one of the things I always say is that wine is personal, it's social, it's connective.
Yeah.
And your yoga classes, by definition, are personal, right? You are the teacher, but everyone from what I understand about yoga, is it's your own personal practice, however you choose to do it, so to speak, or follow it. To some, certainly, right? And it is connected. Your classes are connective, and you've created the social aspect to it. Now, it's not traditional. It is traditional yoga because you are a true yoga instructor.
Sure,
You are trained instructor, certified instructor. But I'm sure there's some hardcore folks out there who don't take kindly to it.
No, I ruffled a lot of feathers, that's for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, well, I think it contributed to all the press and the book deal, obviously. It was very controversial. And I do understand that. The words drunk and yoga together can be very triggering for people who do yoga to steer away from alcohol and substance. But what I believe that yoga is, yoga classes are a communal way to learn alternative techniques to cultivate personal joy. So we have our own practice to cultivate personal joy so that we live happy lives, right? We do yoga not to be good at yoga, but to be happy people. And yoga is just a technique to do that. I think that something that is lacking in the yoga community is a way to feel like we're doing it together, particularly in urban places like New York, where people just kind of go into the yoga class very centered on their own problems, their cell phones, their work, their mat, their yoga clothes, and then they do their thing and then they leave. And as a yoga teacher, I would like to see more people interacting in a class. So the wine has allowed me to get people to look at each other and cheers and take a sip.
If you will.
Right. It's more of an entertainment experience through the vehicle of a yoga class. So before we have a mandatory happy hour, and then we do the fun sort of yoga class with the music, and then at the end I call it my wind down. So that's where people can connect with new friends, do the Instagram photos and things like that. So
not bad at all. So this all has taken shape in about a year.
Yep, so I came
It's been a whirlwind.
It's been a whirlwind. I came up with the idea last September when I was in the bar, and then it took a while for the class to gain momentum, and that's when I called the press first Gothamist, and then it just quickly spiraled Refinery 29, and I'm sure you read all the articles. So it went viral from the Refinery 29 article that was in the Skim, November 15th. So it's been about a year. The classes were sold out for months. I had to quickly hire new teachers. I started a company, got the trademark, and I've just sort of been catching up to the press ever since.
You've been able to, maybe it's your yoga practice, personal yoga practice that allows you to do this. You've been in control of this. I mean, you've got a book. You've got a book. I mean, people don't just whip off a book all that easily, do they?
No, and I'm not going to say it was easy.
Right.
It's called Drunk Yoga 50 Wine and Yoga Poses to Lift Your Spirit. So a publisher, an editor from Skyhorse Publishing came to my class right when it went viral. And she found me on Instagram and said, will you write a book for us? So it's a funny coffee table book. So it does have it has fun pictures, but it's illustrations. And I break down how to do pretty simple yoga poses with a glass of wine and not take yourself too seriously when you're in the class. But then it also has fun little anecdotes and facts and games to teach you how to develop your own home practice. So it's a good book.
I'd need a sippy cup, I think, to maintain a pose and not spill anything.
So the book comes out January 15th, 2019. So it's on pre-sale on Amazon, but you can get it in Barnes & Nobles and most bookstores across the country next month. Yeah.
And then Drunk Yoga is not stopping at a book. It's not stopping at classes. You're taking folks to one of my favorite places. You're taking folks to Tuscany.
Yes.
for yoga and the beautiful Tuscan experience. Food, wine, beautiful setting.
So if I may explain, I realized that what's so great about drunk yoga and why people have latched onto it is not just combining wine with yoga. Anybody can do that. It's more than just drinking while you do yoga. It's more than just a wine tasting after a yoga practice. I really found an artful way to integrate the two together for the purpose of teaching the art of cultivating personal joy through self-empowerment in the communal, obviously. What I do is I find communal rituals and add yoga. It's about joy. It's not about the wine. So now I have coffee yoga, and I do that at Kellogg's Cafe in Union Square. And I'm experimenting with other things, right, like dancing and bachelorette parties and anything that already brings people together. And then I sort of infuse yoga.
So what I like to do is you pair yoga with different things. I pair wine with different things. So I didn't find any wines that have people doing yoga poses on the label, even though there are some out there, I believe. But what I tried to do after reading your story, which was an impressive story, was to try to pair wine with you and your business and your practice. So I visited last year One Woman Winery out in the North Fork of Long Island. Claudia Purita is an Italian immigrant. She grew up on a farm. You grew up in a farming community in Wisconsin. She grew up in a farming community in Italy. And she worked in the restaurant business for years, but really felt this pull to do something more. On her website, she says she's had a lifelong really approach towards sustainability and self-reliance. And again, those buzzwords sort of caught my attention with your story as well. So I happen to have one bottle left in my cellar, a one-woman winery, and you're a one-woman DrunkYoga CEO, founder, and magnet, and so I thought, let me bring this along. This is a Gewürztraminer from their property. I'm going to taste a little bit of it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So she makes really good wines, and I believe they're involved in curating the collection at the Taste New York shop in Grand Central. So,
well, cheers.
Cheers, and we're drinking this out of our little DrunkYoga cups. Look at that, pretty cool.
It says lift your spirits.
All right.
Well,
good motto, cheers. But thank you, Eli. Thanks for having us in.
Pleasure.
This is the DrunkYoga book. This is the DrunkYoga founder and CEO, Eli Walker. We appreciate you taking some time and having us come here and put a little mat time in. Again, this is Hank Zone of the Grapes Unwrapped with Eli Walker. Join us again next time where we go to some interesting places and meet some really interesting people and tell some interesting stories. See you again next time. Namaste.
Namaste.